This video we're going to talk about lifting splits, guys. I've had so many different ones over the years, and there's been like different periods of my life where I've had to make the adaptations and changes depending on what my goals were. And everyone's got their own unique situation where you might be training for a powerlifting competition or bodybuilding competition, or maybe they like to play football or basketball or martial arts or something in between there, or maybe they're 20 years old, maybe they're 40 years old, maybe they got the kids, maybe they don't. And I'm 28 at the moment. I've been a dad for the last 7 years. For 6 of those years, I've been a single father, and so I've had like lots of different training splits to suit these changes in my life. And I've lived like my late teenage years as someone who's been in the gym, and so I've got lots of different experiences as an entrepreneur, as an employee, lots of different ways that I've made training work around my life. And I really think that's the most important thing when you come into this, guys, is that I made a video on why we train every single day, because it builds the grit and the belief and the intensity and the follow through on your words to yourself. Like, I think there's a period where you need to go through a season of like training every single day just so you can build the habit of following through on your words to yourself. Because the faster you can get to the point of understanding why you fail and like why you quit on your goals, is the faster you can learn the lessons of how you can not quit on your goals anymore, because you can do the reflection of, okay, I quit because I did this sin or this vice, or I was lazy in this area, or I was too tired because of this thing. And you can really get all that character growth. So I suggest when you start lifting, guys, is to follow that program that I said, where that's why I start off, guys, in my app. I say, okay, we're going to do this for at least 90 days, is to train every single day. And the guys that love it, man, they stay on that anyways, because they realize that value is built in them every single day through repetition. But when it comes to the different seasons of life, like maybe you've got a heartbreak or a adversity in your life, maybe you need to step out of the gym for a week or two, and that's okay. You still get in like, maybe a daily walk or something like that, and try and train around that lifestyle. Like, it's got to be a sustainable approach, guys. It's never going to be perfect situation or storm, perfect opportunity to go and embark on making this change. You've got to realize, like, life is always moving, always changing, always adapting. So you've got to be in a position where you can take those moments as they come and really, like, how do I say it? Like, you've got to be flexible. If you're inflexible, like, what happens if you're training every day at 3 in the morning, and then one night your kid's sick and you've got to stay home for them? Like, you can't just go to the gym, and you've got real responsibilities that aren't these first world problems like training every single day. Now, you should aim to train every single day, but if you can't, then you can structure it around your life. And so where I would say, like, you've got to have some personal responsibility for this, guys. Realize that your situation is unique. Like, maybe you are a shift worker, like me, talking about getting up at 3 or 4 in the morning every single day, but you're a nurse who works split shifts. Maybe that's not going to work for you, man. So you've got to just make that wisdom and that application to be like, I'm talking about the principle behind getting up early every single day, is that you're making sure that you have the time, that you have that solitude and reflection in your goals and with God and with your journaling, with your Bible study, and with the intense training and solitude, where you can build that self-talk that carries into the rest of your days. You just like tick the box before Murphy's Law tries to knock you down and like take you out of things. Like, you got all these distractions and everything else. Like, so yes, take the principle behind what I'm saying about training every day, and then apply it to maybe your 3-day split, your 4-day, your 5-day, or your 7-day split, whatever it is, mate. Realize it's the principle behind it. If you want to make a 5-day split, guys, you can. If you want to make a 4-day or 3-day because you're playing football on the weekends, you've got 3 training nights, then do it, guys. Realize that you've just got to hit the muscle as intended. Like, you've got to just like fatigue it enough to grow it. Give it that demand on your body so that you can grow it with the right nutrition and the recovery. It's not about training just for the sake of training. It's, why are you in there? What's the purpose of it? Is it getting the result, the desired outcome? And if not, then you've got to be able to look back and refine the process. That's why we keep logbooks, guys. I give you the app, the training app, so you can write down the reps and the sets. But for me, man, I'd rather have, like, this isn't my training journal, but this is my normal journal. But grab a book, man. I'd way rather write my sessions down. I have like 20 of these over the 10 or 12, whatever years of lifting in the gym that I've got. Because if I'm going through a plateau, or I'm like the journal in a paper form allows you to write down your body weight, how much sleep you had, what sets you did, how you were feeling that day, a little bit extra customization in your own words and your own way that you track that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you have that data, you can quickly go and reference, rather than digging through all these apps over the years, and maybe the app gets wiped one day, you lose that. But if you write it down, guys, you can look at that data and be like, okay, this was working because I tracked it over 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 months, 6 years. You'd be like, okay, this works for my body because everyone's body is unique. Now the principles and the philosophies and the foundations of training remain the same, like calories in, calories out, training with weights, not training like a pussy, like training like someone who actually wants their results, treating their life and their valuing every single day and every single step as if it was the last thing they did, because it very well might be, so maybe done with 100% of intensity. That's the foundation of your training, is the intensity and the attention to detail and all that diet stuff, but like, and the macros that I go over, man. But outside of that, making your own training splits, it's going to be unique to you, man. Like, there's going to be seasons in your business, if you're an entrepreneur, where you're like, you need to have more focus in the business. The mindset that you can build in the early hours in the morning, or build in the gym by showing up every single day. Maybe it's not early morning for you, man, but this is why you experiment with training at different times of the day. Morning, evening, midday, midnight, whatever it may be. You track that, you try it. If it doesn't work for you, then you remove it. Everyone's different. Someone might be an early bird, someone might be a late night guy. I found that the training that's been most effective for me has just been the training that's been in solitude. I used to love training late at night, guys, between like 8 and 10 p.m. That's when I was like 17-year-old kid up to about the age of 20. But then when I had a child, I was like, I have to train earlier in the day so I can make sure that like she's not alone at nighttime with her mum who may need help. And then, you know, as a year or two later of that, when I became a single father, I was like, well, I have my kid like half of the time. I'm gonna have to buy a home gym so I can train every single morning. Otherwise, my business is not going to flourish because I'm going to be spending time in the middle of the day when I really should be working instead. So you've got to make those adaptations and choices and sacrifices and mold it around your life, rather than like have all the circumstances kind of mold you whether you're in or you're out. So there's so many different training styles that you guys can do, and it's just going to come down to trying something, tracking it, seeing if it's producing the result in the mirror, sticking to the diet, sticking to the proteins, carbs, fats, calories, nailing the nutrition, as well as nailing the intensity, and you'll learn over time. Your body's changing. Like, you know, maybe in a couple of years, I'm only going to need 3 training sessions a week as I get older. I don't know, guys. You know, there's been times of life where I've flourished so much more so in terms of my growth and rest and recovery by training 4 or 5 days a week for a season. There's been other times where I've progressed far further by training every single day with double the intensity and double the volume. Somehow that's created more growth. You can't always explain this with science, guys. Sometimes you can with the volume and recovery and the right training, but there's something that is just unexplained, and that's like what the outliers of society will tell you. The people who are like, they're not the status quo, they're not the 99%, but everyone else. It's like, there's something that's different, man. It's called belief. It's called perseverance. It's something that's in here. Like, you know, if you need to do this every single day, you go and do it. It provides the result. It doesn't matter what all the books and the neck pencils of society tell you like is the most optimal thing. It's like, no. I show up, I get the intensity, I get the mentality, I get the mindset that's going to push me into the path of all my other goals. So maybe if it like could have been 5% more perfect by having a slightly different form, or having one more day rest of recovery, but that's robbed me of like a 50% gain in my business or how I show up to my relationship by not training that day. Well then, bro, you obviously make the decision to train that day. Now, if that training becomes the idol for you that removes you from God, and you're prioritizing training over the Lord, then you need to remove that training, man. You need to decrease it so you can spend more time with God. So like, there's different things that you're only going to get the experience of by trying and applying it yourself, and then learning where it's leading you in life, and being honest and constantly having that repentant heart, constantly having that position of reflection in what you're doing, and seeing if it's adding to you in all these different metrics of your life, like faith, family, fitness, finance. The fitness is the driver of that discipline, guys. It's the faith you combine it with that builds more discipline, builds more perseverance, builds more belief, that is going to increase the value and the progression in your family and in your finances. It all works together, guys. It all works together. So you have to track everything in your personal development system, like to the gram, man, to the rep, to the set, and then be honest. Did I actually give it my all? If not, that's the inch that's going to add up and stack up day by day by day to whether I win the competition or not. The competition could be the relationship. The competition could be your business succeeding or not. The competition could be the competition of whether your hands raise or not. Now, would you give up that inch today and then lose it? Lose that competition, lose that relationship because you weren't willing to put in the hard work and sacrifice today of tracking and finding out and reflecting, and then seeing if there's a better solution, a better path, and trying something and learning from it, and like going through that failure and getting back up and trying again until it goes your way. The differential is going to be your intensity and how hard you pay attention to the small details, how much you constantly refine yourself. And guys, it's not always about the training. I can't emphasize that enough. It's the split always needs to have Christ at the center. Without God, you have nothing. And when you start to deviate from God and getting out of the Word of God, getting out of the Bible, then you're vulnerable to attack, man. Then you stop losing the reason and the purpose behind why you're training in the first place. It's to be the best man you can be for your loved ones. So if you start your day with God, give your best fruits first to the Lord, rather than your best fruits first into the gym, realize that God can give you more strength and more purpose and more motivation for the gym. You go God first, prayer first, Bible study first, then you go into the training. It's the intense training. And you make that a priority. You make God the priority, the first option, not the last resort. Then you've got the right heart posture, the right mindset, the right fuel you can take into the workouts, take into whatever day you do the workout. But at least you got that right. That was done first. It was the first priority. You got the spirit, you got the mindset, you got the heart ready. And then you put it into the gym as well. And then you'll know what the right split is for you, because you'll be led with that godly wisdom, not trying to do things in your own strength. Rather, you're trusting God to supply the right path for you. And then you can, like, genuinely, guys, I've never had a training partner. Like, I've trained with my girlfriend like a number of times because I've been showing her the ropes and really enjoying my time at the gym with her. It's really special, man. But like prior to that, my training partner has just been myself. It's been my own motivation, been my own why. And then when I came to God, my training partner has been the Holy Spirit. I'm like, all right, God, what weight should I put on the bar? And I know it's like a combination of a lifter's intuition that I get from years of experience being like, I should add on 5, I can do this. But like, God will challenge me too, man. It's like, I reckon I can push it here. Or it's like, you actually need to scale it back now. It's like, I get that godly wisdom because I'm including God in all the aspects of my life, including my training. I'm willing to submit to Him in everything that I do because He'll make my path straight. And so, like I said, there's going to be different periods of your life where it's like you need to push harder, you need to step back a little bit so you can gain the recovery to go hard tomorrow. That experience comes with time, but you can also apply godly wisdom to your training here, guys. And I'm encouraging you to do that because you're going to get the right lifting split. Like when you go and make your schedule, when you go and make your lifting program, be like, God, how can I best honor you? What is the best for this period of my life? How would you like me to train? So I used to be so headstrong, guys, and being like, get up at 3 a.m. every day, get up at 2:40 every day, get up at 1:40 every day. These were like things that I had set, penciled in for myself. But there's also been periods where I've had to realize that like that was actually detrimental to my progress. I had to step back and be like, okay, it's actually better for me to get to bed early and then let my body wake up between 3 and 5 a.m. That was a period of my life. Sometimes when I'm going through a really tough part of adversity, a really testing trial in my business or my relationship or whatever it may be, or maybe I've got a comp coming up, then maybe it is more suitable to me to be like, okay, I'm going to be less stressed and perform better if I stick to a very strict regiment. Other times, I'll be able to have less stress if I don't have that strict regiment, but I only get that experience by tracking it. If you're not tracking it, guys, you're really missing out on all the gains you can make. So you have to track it, you have to try different things. But like I said, the fundamentals of hard work and sweat and sacrifice and perseverance, they remain the same. You have to train the way that you play. So you play the way you train. So you have to train and treat every single rep, every single set as if it was your last. And you have to treat the macros, the grams, everything like that. You have to value that as much as you are valuing like the end state trophy, the end state reward that you're fighting so passionately and hard for. Because that's the small daily battles that stacks up to winning that war, of achieving that mission or not. So that's what I got for you guys. It comes to lifting splits, they're all gonna work. It's what works for you. What can you stick to? What can you adapt and change? As long as you're hitting all of the muscle groups in your body at least once a week with intensity, then I think that's enough. I think that's enough. For me personally, I like mostly hitting things 2 times a week. Like since I've started training, I've always had 2 leg days a week. I've always had a deadlift day. I've always had a bench day. I've always had like an arm day and a shoulder day. And then I've just, I've slapped on core at the end of the workouts most of the time, at least like 3 times a week, 4 times a week, depending on if they're weighted core sessions or not, or whether they're body weight sessions or not. You can train it every single day. You can train calves every day. Those compound movements, guys, eventually are going to catch up with you, and you're going to need to have a deload. And how do I define a deload? I define it as getting injured. and then, because I just love training so much, man. You can't keep me out of the gym. You can't keep a good man down, bro. But that's something that I've had to learn, man, is not getting to the point of breaking because I love something so much. It's instead been like trusting God when I started to feel the signs of that, like the extreme fatigue, and being like, all right, God, I'm eating right, I'm sleeping right, I'm training right. This is just something that I need to actually take a step back from so I can go and hit it harder the next week. And how I deload then, maybe I just like go in there for half the amount of time. We'll do half of the amount of reps. I'm always giving 100% of my workouts, even when it is a deload, guys, but maybe I just cut the volume in half. So I can still make sure I'm giving 100%, train that ability of giving 100% in what I do, that I'm right here, I'm giving everything I can into this, but maybe I'm just like cutting the workout in half. And I find that if you give yourself the permission to deload in that way, where you're still giving 100% in what you're doing with 100% intensity, then those periods of life where you've got that, that you're trying to build a business and you might have to be doing a lot of traveling or something like that, you've still got that mindset and that momentum of staying in the gym and still persevering day in, day out. Like, that's why I suggest that 7-day split, because it's so adaptable to your life, where you can be like, okay, well, I know I'm going to have like 2 sessions a week where I'm hitting I'm hitting this muscle group of arms, for example, twice a week. I'm hitting legs twice a week. I'm hitting chest twice a week through a chest day dedicated, then a push-pull day. Like, I'm hitting everything I need to hit at least twice a week. If I miss one of those days, it's not a big deal. I just got a little bit extra recovery and get back up and try again the next day. It's like you can mold and adapt that and learn what these different exercises are doing for you. Like, maybe the dumbbell flies are better for you than the pec deck flies. It's like you learn that because you're tracking it. You're taking these progress pictures, you're taking these videos, you're weighing yourself every single day. You're actually treating this like someone who respects themselves and who actually wants the result, not someone who's guessing their way through this, but someone who actually treats their life with the respect that it deserves. Treating their goals like the value they actually have, like treating their influence like someone who actually loves their people. So we track and we treat it with that respect. We respect what we're doing, therefore we track it, guys. And then you can make it mold and adapt around your life, because you know what works for you. You know that if you apply this in this area, it gets you this result. You understand that if you don't apply in this area, then it knocks you off that path. But because you spent so much time sticking to the basics of calories in, calories out, with the right amount of proteins, carbs, fats, calories, the right amount of intensity in the training, then you have the skills where you're able to make the adaptations. If you do get off that path, you do have something hit you, then you know how to get back on the right track. You know how to lose that fat again, and you know how to gain that muscle back, because you just start doing the exact same thing that has always worked, which has been you doing the work. Thanks for watching, guys. Love you all. Have a great day.